What's happening, guys? Back at you with another video. So we recently had Abigail, the newest vampire flick that came out in theaters. I was able to check it out. So what did I think of it? So when it comes to the movie Abigail, this one was actually one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I remember watching the trailer back in I think early January or late December, around that time, and I just got interested in this movie. I got interested in the whole concept of it. Really, in my opinion, lately it feels like over the past couple of years we really haven't had that vampire movie that just sticks out to you, that just comes out as like a good vampire movie to where you want to go back and rewatch it, or just have fun with it or anything like that. We really haven't had too many vampire movies like that over the past few years, in my opinion. So I was really looking forward to this movie and seeing if it was going to be able to do that, if it was going to be able to be a good vampire movie, first point. And where are you going to be able to have fun with it? Is it going to be good, have rewatchability factor to it, or, just become a new kind of classic favorite when it comes to vampire movies? So it was all those things I was kind of like hoping for and kind of seeing what this movie can actually do. So a little brief synopsis on this movie is that a group of characters kidnap this little girl and hold her for ransom, basically, in this isolated mansion, and they're holding her for ransom, and it later reveals that she is actually a bloodthirsty vampire. Now, that concept had me very interested from what I saw from the trailer and just reading off of how this movie is, what this movie is about. I really was interested in checking this movie out and seeing what it could be able to do for vampire movies in general. So really one of the things I really liked about this movie was that it was set, majority of the movie is set in one location. Like I said before, it's set in an isolated mansion, this big old mansion that is kind of, just the way it looks, the way it feels at times, to where it's like it's creepy, it's haunting at times. So it's almost like the mansion takes on its own character within the movie, in a sense, to where it's like you don't know where this hallway leads, you don't know where this door leads, you don't know what you're going to find in this mansion. So it's very creepy, eerie, and I just like how it's all set in one location. You don't know where you're going, you don't know the layouts of this mansion. So I like how all that was brought together in this one location. You can't escape, you can't, as the characters find out that they can't escape from this mansion, so they're stuck in this mansion with this vampire for 24 hours. So it's like this one location shot, one location set is just awesome in the movie. And honestly, you have a great cast of characters in here. There's these characters I feel like you're able to sort of connect with. You're able to hear some of their backstory. You're able to familiarize yourself with these characters and actually get to know these characters on a personal level, from their stories, from just seeing how they are in the movie, how they react to each other. There's tension between these characters because they don't know whether or not to trust each other. Basically, these characters just came together on a whim. Basically, they were brought together and they don't know each other beforehand, so they don't know whether or not to trust each other, and they try to sort of get to know each other. They kind of tell each other's backstories. At first they're like hesitant on saying, like, no names, no real names, no backstories, no, don't tell us your personal life or anything like that. But they come to soon come closer together and get to actually know each other somewhat. But also too, there's just that trust, to where it's like you don't know if you can trust that person, whether or not to trust them, or what kind of person they actually are, who they say they are. So it really builds up that tension throughout the movie. And each character feels distinctly different, to where, they don't feel like they're just thrown into this movie, or, they're not like, just, they don't feel like forgettable or anything like that. You actually get to know these characters and know them distinctly from each one of another, and be able to actually gravitate towards a character if you're familiar with them, or if you can connect with them. You're able to actually know who character is which and which character is who. And when it comes to the actress that is playing Abigail herself, I think she does a pretty great job. She does an amazing job, actually. She's able to play this role of the character where she basically is, in the beginning part, and the first act of the movie, she's basically this helpless girl. She doesn't know what's going on, why she's being kidnapped, and things like that. And she's trying to get to know these characters in a sense, and she's able to just play this helpless girl in the beginning. But then, of course, she's switching baits to being a bloodthirsty vampire, and she's able to do that effortlessly, to where you believe her as this vampire, where she comes across as creepy at times, she comes across as malicious at times, and she's able to just play this bloodthirsty vampire and just some of the special effects and makeup and that they use on her also too, to when she's actually becomes this vampire is honestly done pretty well. So the way she does her facial expressions, the way that she's able to attack, and you see how she has her teeth and everything like that set up, and it's just like she's able to play this character of this vampire, this girl, this little girl that's a vampire, and just bloodthirsty, killing machine, trying to kill whatever gets in her way, go after her and hunt down all these characters, and she just plays it so well. And I thought one funny aspect of the movie was like, of course, when you watch the trailer, if you don't know anything about this movie, but if you've seen the trailer and you know that she is basically a ballerina, she actually puts that into her sort of, you could say, a repertoire of like hunting them down. She literally is doing ballerina dance moves as she's hunting or as she's going around the house. She's like doing these flips and spins and tiptoe dances that ballerinas do. And it's kind of funny at times just seeing how these characters are running away from her scared, trying to get away from her, and you can see her in the background behind them doing these different ballerina moves and stuff like that. And it was just kind of funny. It's a funny aspect in the movie once you see it. And one of the things I do like about this movie is that it sort of does something new to the vampire lore. You know, there's an interesting concept that they do in here. I'm not really going to spoil it too much, but there's an interesting concept that they do as far as vampire lore, and it's very interesting when you see it in the movie. But the way that you see these characters come together and they finally realize that she is a vampire, and they're going through all the classic tropes of how to kill a vampire, what to do when you encounter a vampire. You know, do you use stakes? Do you use crosses? Garlic, holy water, all the different tropes of killing a vampire they go through basically, and they try and fail at different things on how to kill her and all that. So it's kind of interesting that they were able to sort of introduce something that I really haven't seen before in another vampire movie. So it was kind of interesting and kind of fresh to be able to see that they kind of extend the vampire lore in a sense to introduce a interesting new concept to it. And this movie is just completely a blood and gore fest. If you love blood, if you love gore, this is definitely up your alley because there is so much blood, so much gore in this movie. I like it. I like that there was so much blood. I like that it was bloody and gory. It was just a bloody good time, I gotta say. There's decapitations, there's bodies exploding, there's just a lot of blood and gore going on in this movie. So if that's something you're looking for in a horror vampire movie, this is definitely going to be up your alley too. You're going to actually enjoy some of the things that they have in this movie. But along with all that, they actually introduce some interesting twists in this movie. There's actually a couple of twists here and there that you could kind of see that happens, and it's very interesting what they do with those different twists within the movie. But overall, I think this movie is fun. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome, I gotta say. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was just a bloody good time in the theater watching this movie, just having fun with it. I've been looking for a vampire movie to just kind of, in a sense, blow me away, but like just basically just be a good vampire movie. And like I said before, I don't think we really had those standout, really good vampire movies over the past couple of years. I gotta say that I could confidently say that this movie I had a lot of fun with. I think it's awesome, and I think this is definitely going to be a vampire movie that I go back to watch. I think this one might be a new favorite when it comes to vampire movies. It did such an amazing things with this whole vampire lore, the vampire concept, and as a vampire movie that I just enjoyed it so much that I am definitely going to be going back to this movie to rewatch, which is saying a lot because I don't typically rewatch a whole lot of vampire movies. You know, I do have my handful of favorites out there that I definitely do go back and rewatch. But like I said, over the past couple of years, there hasn't really been that one that just sticks out to me that I want to go back to. I can actually say that this one is definitely going to be one that I go back to and rewatch because I just had a lot of fun with it, had an awesome time with it in the theater. So this one is definitely going to be back, probably be on my short list for favorite vampire movies that I just go back and rewatch. And honestly, to be honest, I don't really have any bad things to say about this movie. You know, there really wasn't anything that I could say bad about this movie. I will say though that if it was possible for me to go into this movie blind, to where it's like I never saw any trailers, didn't know what this movie was about, and just go in totally just not knowing anything, I think I would have had I won't say a much more fun time, but I think I would have had a more interesting time being able to see some of this stuff unravel for the first time and not knowing anything, not knowing that this was going to be a vampire movie, not knowing what's going to happen next or anything like that. And I think it would have been somewhat more interesting to see if that would have happened, like what would have happened as far as me personally, to be able to see how this stuff unravels and not knowing anything before going in. But that is just like I said, this movie was a fun time. It was an awesome time in theater. I enjoyed this movie so much. I'm going back to rewatch this movie eventually. So I just honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I really liked it. It's a good vampire movie. I definitely recommend it. And when it comes to vampire movies, if you're looking for a good vampire movie, if you're looking for something that's bloody and gory, I highly recommend it. So go check it out. But that is going to do it all for this video. Definitely let me know down in the comments below if you've seen this movie. Did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on it? But hopefully y'all all enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when I post another video. Hopefully y'all have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.